arrives in Damascus to discuss the crisis and find a solution based on national dialogue. The International Conference Against Violence and Extremism concludes its activities in Tehran, stressing the necessity of combating terrorism. Units of the Syrian Arab Army target terrorists in Damascus, Daraa, Al-Qunaitirah and Homs, killing and wounding dozens of them. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our news for today. The special envoy of the Russian President, Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Mikhail Bogdanov, arrived in Syria today to discuss means of resolving the crisis in Syria through holding a Syrian dialogue. Deputy Foreign and Expatriates Minister Dr. Faisal Al-Muqdad, who received Bogdanov, asserted the importance of continuous consultations between Damascus and Moscow to render the Syrian dialogue a success and to overcome the crisis in the country. In Tehran, the Conference for Rejecting Extremism and Violence concluded its sessions today after hosting heads and ministers of 40 countries, including Syria. Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Jawad Zarif said in a press conference that violence and extremism threaten world peace, pointing out that the Middle East topped the list of the areas targeted by terrorism. Zarif added that Iran believes in the necessity of removing the threat of extremism and violence from the whole world, pointing out that only dialogue can solve world problems. Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Walid Al-Moualem met in Tehran with President Hassan Rouhani, who stressed that Syria will be able to defeat terrorism due to the steadfastness of its people and army, adding that Iran will continue its support for Syria. Rouhani called on those who stand behind the terrorist organizations to stop such behavior. Minister Al-Moualem pointed out that some regional and Western countries stand behind the terrorist organizations fighting in Syria, adding that pressure should be put on these countries to stop funding the terrorists, pointing out that Syria will continue to fight terrorism until it achieves victory. During his meeting with the Secretary of the Iranian High National Security Council, Ali Shamkhani, Foreign Minister Al-Moualem pointed out that the Israeli aggression against Syria is part of the conspiracy launched by regional and Western countries in order to weaken Syria's steadfastness. For his part, Shamkhani pointed out that the objectives of those who support the terrorists in Syria would fail, and he reasserted Iran's continuous support to Syria and its fight against the terrorist organizations including ISIS and Al-Nusra. Earlier, Minister Al-Moualem had held a meeting with his Iranian and Iraqi counterparts Mohammad Jawad Zarif and Ibrahim Al-Jafari. Concluding the meeting, agreement was reached on continuing consultations and coordination among the three countries in the field of fighting terrorism, including the terrorist organizations of ISIS, Al-Nusra and the rest of Al-Qaeda branches in the region. Welcome back. A military source stressed that a unit of the Syrian Arab Army eliminated a number of terrorists in Dar al-Balad and destroyed their weapons. Another unit of the Syrian Arab Army killed and wounded dozens of gunmen in Sheikh Miskin and Salmin in the governorate's countryside. Syrian Arab Army units also targeted terrorist gatherings in 3 different positions in Al-Qunaitirah, killing and wounding a number of them. In Damascus countryside, targeted terrorist positions in Drusha farms, killing a number of gunmen and destroying an armored vehicle. In Homs countryside, units of the Syrian Arab Army destroyed vehicles and weapons in 4 towns and eliminated scores of terrorists in Al-War neighborhood. The Palestinian Minister for Resisting the Israeli Racist Segregation Wall, Ziad Abu Ayn, was killed today after being beaten by Israeli soldiers north of Ramallah in the West Bank. Minister Ziad was attacked by Israeli soldiers near the racist segregation wall after being beaten by rifle butts and inhalation of tear gas. Abu Ayn was transported to Ramallah Hospital, where he died shortly. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas condemned the killing of the Palestinian minister, pledging to refer the case to international courts. In Libya, the army laid a siege on the city of Derna, paving the way to storm it and clear it of the terrorist organizations. Military sources asserted that the Libyan army prepares to enter the crossing of Ras Jdir on the Tunisian borders after maintaining control on Al-Ajailat city west of Tripoli and expelling the armed militias from it. The Air Force will help open corridors for the army to carry out the operation. In Benghazi, clashes continued between the army and the armed militias to eliminate them. Finally, the Syrian General Secretariat for Growth won the status of an international judge in the assessment committee representing the Arab group following the geographical vote resulting from the 9th session of the International Committee for Protecting Human Heritage. The Syrian Secretariat will occupy the position as a member for 2 years within an international group of 6 international judges, in addition to 5 non-governmental organizations, NGOs. With this, we conclude our news for today. Thank you for watching. For more details about Syria and the region and to view this bulletin again, you can always visit our website in English, syriaonline.sy. Now to latest business at market news with Serena, but after a short break.